Good morning, this is Anis from Never Stop Trucking. Hope everyone is doing okay. We just started streaming and we're going to be talking about some trucking related issues, news, and other helpful tips and tricks. As always, if you have any questions, you can ask them here and I'll try to answer them. I will start with some news from the trucking. Give me 1 second. The phone is already ringing. The phone is already ringing. Let me see if we have any comments. Nothing yet. Like I said, we can ask questions here. No problem. The first news that we have here is that China is not happy with the sale of key Panama ports, and this might affect the way we do business here, because 2 ports have been sold to United States-based groups. It's a BlackRock-led investor group. If you don't know what BlackRock is or who they are, then I suggest you look on YouTube for there are a few videos that explain what they are and what they do, but they're probably the biggest investor group in the whole world, and they own everything. So a few people own everything, and there are YouTube videos about that and articles that explain what they do. So they just bought, they proposed a $22.8 billion deal to buy 2 Panama Canal ports from Hong Kong-based group. So, and China is not happy about that. So we'll see how that affects the trucking. It will. There are so many things going on right now, and everything, all of them are affecting the trucking industry, from the tariffs to the tariffs to buying these ports and other economy-related news. And I also read the other day that the customers, the shippers, and the receivers, everyone they don't know what to think, because one day the tariffs are going into the effect, then another day they hold them, and then they come up with new ones. I guess that's Trump's way of negotiating things. But the trucking investors, they don't know what to make out of it. And everyone is told. Everyone is just waiting to see what's going to happen. And they can't, like, okay, we're going to have tariffs. Well, let's make a plan about that. Let's see what we can do. But then the next day, oh, now we don't have tariffs anymore. Now, what are we going to do? Let's wait another day. So it just keeps changing, and that's a part of the reason of why we are not seeing any improvement in trucking rates. Hello, Morgan, Merck, and Sylvester. So yeah, I did actually, as a matter of fact, started talking about that. That was you see, that's the first question. Do you guys take owner-operators that want to be local? No, we don't. Cavs Trucking, we really don't have any local loads. So we do not. We are over the road. Some guys try to stay regional, but local, no, we don't have anything like that. But the biggest concern for everyone, and the biggest question that everyone is asking right now, is the rates, because I don't even want to, like, when you have to go into the DAT load board and find a load, you're thinking, man, like, I wonder how bad, like, every day when you go there, I wonder how bad is it going to be today. So, but you have to find that good load. And with us right now, we do have a few dispatchers right now that are doing a great job, and that's what we that's what we think works. Give them as little trucks as possible. It used to be a dispatcher could handle 10 or more, but now we are thinking like five, like anything over five, it's gonna be hard. But with five, you have enough time to look, enough time to book a good load, and you can still find that one load that pops out, that good paying load, but it just takes a long time to find it. Good morning, JFC. So do you think the markets will go up from this, what we have right now? If it stays like this, I don't think they're gonna go up. I just don't think they're gonna go up if it stays like this. Something has to change. Something we have to have a stable economy and stable market, so the investors are willing to invest more and make plans for the foreseeable future. When we are talking about our RFPs, brokers, some brokers like to do them, some brokers hate them, and customers want to do that. Their customers, they send them these spreadsheets, and they give them their lanes, and then the brokers are supposed to get back with a proposed rate, and it's hard. Most of them go for a year long. So when you're pricing your loads, they're expecting brokers to give them a price for the whole year, and that's hard. That's hard to do. So some brokers would prefer the quarterly RFPs, just so they can, because we don't know what's going to happen in a week, let alone in a year. So they don't want to do that, and no one wants to commit for a whole year. For there are two things. First, it could be even worse, right? So you can't commit for a rate, and then 2 months later everything becomes even worse. Or since everyone is expecting the rates to go up eventually, it was a long time ago overdue for the rates to go up. Since everyone is expecting it to go up, how is the broker or a carrier going to price a load cheap right now, and then in 5-6 months rates improve, and then you're stuck with that rate? So no one wants to make any predictions. No one wants to commit to anything. Everyone is trying to survive and hope that the rates will improve. So we'll see. No one knows. Do you think rates will stay same on April 2nd? Do you ask, Sylvester? Do you ask about that because it's the new month, or is there another reason why you're asking specifically for the April 2nd? Where are the loads? I had a truck in Chicago yesterday. It was not bad, but catastrophic. We spoke about that a few days ago, how Chicago and Wisconsin was everyone's favorite area, especially on a Friday at the end of the week. And we could send our trucks there, position them strategically so we can send them south over the weekend, or even east or west. It doesn't really matter. And I guess everyone noticed that, and everyone started sending their trucks there now. And it just doesn't matter if you're in Chicago on a Friday or in Atlanta. It really doesn't matter. So, and there are a lot of carriers in Chicago. There are hundreds, if not even thousands, of carriers in Chicago, and a lot of them have a lot of trucks, like over 100 trucks, and it's their home, and a lot of them are there. So even on a Monday, most of them may want to go out on Monday. Even it's going to be bad even on a Monday. So Chicago, it's just, and we'll take a look at the rates at the markets here in a second. We'll take a look at that. So I hope this live stream we will be able to stream for an hour or two. So we will have time. And then it is recorded. You can rewatch it later, or you can just stay with us. I just completed your course, how to obtain the certification from you. JVC, email me. The email is in description of this video. Just email me, and then I will send you the certification. We do have a group on Gmail, on GChat for dispatchers, and you can join that group. There is information about that on the website. It's called Dispatcher Insider. Hello, Ulrich. Nice to see you. Hey there, Ennis. As a non-resident dispatcher, can I access the load board account through carrier? Yes, you can. If the carrier will give you a seat, they will create an account for you. Yes, you can. Is it a good time to get into trucking as a dispatcher? No, it's not. I answered that question a lot of times in previous videos, that just like if you don't have any experience, if you don't have any contacts, it's going to be very hard. So I really do not recommend it. So I'm just being honest, okay? Let's continue. So we spoke about China. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. This is the nationwide diesel average for this week. It went down again a little bit from the last week. Last week it went down, and then this week it's also going down. So that's interesting. And this could be another reason why the brokers will not raise their prices, because when they see that the fuel is going down, and it's going to be harder to get a better rate. If the fuel prices are going up, it takes them a while to increase the prices, and you could use that as your point, part of your negotiation. If the fuel prices go up, but if they go down, then you just lost that argument. They're not gonna, especially with the markets right now, they're just not gonna do it. Here's another thing here. Now, this is very interesting. These are the steps. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit bigger so maybe you can see it. Okay, these are the steps shippers are taking to prepare for the anticipated market flip in 2025. So this anticipated market flip has been talked about for the last year or so, at least, because everyone was thinking that eventually they have to turn, the markets have to turn, but they don't. And like we spoke a few times about that, the markets are going to turn beginning of 25, in spring, in summer. No one knows. But here is what shippers are doing, because it's in their interest to keep the shipping rates low, but they are expecting that they're going to get higher. So I'm going to move a little bit here. So they're expecting and they're preparing themselves. Let's see how they're preparing themselves. Expanding the use of additional transportation modes, rail or intermodal. So now this is only if you have high volumes. If you're a large shipper, then you can do that. But 55% of them said that they are planning to do that. Working to secure the lowest possible rates ahead of time. So this is what I was talking about earlier, the RFPs, right? They're asking brokers, their customers, brokers, carriers, to commit for the full year. How can you commit for the full year? If you have a stable market, it's risky, and the brokers and the carriers have to plan on possible market turns, even in stable times. And when they commit for a rate for the whole year, they have to include that in their pricing. They have to be aware of that risk, and smart people will do that. if you're not smart, you might get burned, because in a year there will be probably a time when the markets are bad or good, and you're not going to be able to move those loads profitably. But the shippers, they're playing that game because now they want to secure these cheap rates ahead of time. And right now, I wouldn't really want to be one of those guys who has to price them. So that this might be the only good time where spot rates might have a slight advantage of the contract rates, right? Because everyone is expecting the spot rates to go up. So how do you commit to a bad contract rate? You can't. That's tough. The next step that they are talking about is they're expanding volume with core strategic carriers. So they're trying to work more with the carriers that they have been working in the past, that they trust, that have trucks, and that can move loads for the rates that they want them to move for, right? Implementing advanced forecasting tools to predict demand more accurately. Well, this is an interesting one. I sure hope I could get my hands onto a tool like that, but those tools are very expensive, and it takes a lot of for any statistic to be more accurate, it takes more resources, more samples, and more data, right? So you have to have a lot of data in order to work with statistics and even to improve the predictions. Investing in supply chain technology to improve visibility and efficiency. Okay. I'm guessing tracking. Diversifying key relationships to ensure capacity. Addressing high-risk lanes in my transportation network. And optimizing routes and consolidating shipments for cost efficiency. So this is the last one, and I'm surprised that the optimizing routes and consolidating shipments is the last one, right? So that, in my opinion, that should be on top of the list. But I'm not a shipper, so what do I know? Let's see if we have any comments or questions. Val is asking what. No, that I already answered that. Morgan Jones, what is OTR exactly? OTR is over the road. You have a few ways of shipping in the trucking world, and we use specific terms for the specific lanes based on the length of the lane, the mileage, and the region that they're in. Usually local loads mean something in town, right? But you can expand that to 150-mile radius, right? Because the FMCSA will regulate the recording of the hours of service different if you stay in a 150-mile radius or if you go out of that radius. Okay, so a local runs could be something within 150 miles where you can get home every night or every day. Now you have regional runs. Regional runs are something where a driver could get home 2 or 3 times a week. They go to neighboring states, maybe within like 500-600 miles. Okay, 500 to 700 miles. So that could be considered regional. Everything else is over the road. Over the road means you go everywhere. You go all over the United States. That's it. Or Canada, or even Mexico. But we say in United States, so for me, I just say United States. The 48 states, not Hawaii and Alaska. So that's over the road. We could also consider a regional over the road because you are away from home, you're not sleeping at home. All the FMCSA hours of service rules apply for regional drivers. So you could also consider that over the road. But some carriers would sugarcoat their lanes and say we are regional, right? So that means they're closer to home and you might be home more often. I gave up on trucking, making more money as a mobile mechanic doing basic stuff. Yeah, depends if you're a company driver or owner operator. It does depend where you're going. If you were going local, regional, what kind of equipment were you running? But yeah, I can see that. I can see that why you gave up. How much of this does the dispatcher get from one truck? Well, if you are independent dispatcher, you're probably charging by percentage. So depends on your percentage, right? And how much you can, how much your truck can gross. I'm from Kazakhstan. Wanna be a truck dispatcher, but afraid my English. So your English, I think, should be a little bit better because working in trucking as a dispatcher or safety or accounting, anything, right now it's important to be able to write as well. For dispatchers, it used to be 100% work on the phone, but now 50% at least you work through email. So you have to know how to spell, grammar, a lot of that. Mine is not perfect. Also, for example, in Gmail, in Gmail, you have suggestions. You have AI right now. You can use Grammarly. I use Grammarly. It's an extension, and they have you can get a free account with Grammarly. Install the extension on your Chrome, and it will autocorrect you, and it will help you. So your English should be good. It cannot be just okay. Good morning, Sunshine. Hello, Michael. Nice to see you. I'm glad you made it on time. Thanks for being here. Can you explain ELD, the reset and the hard reset? Okay. The reset and the hard reset. Well, I know about the reset. The reset it's 34-hour reset, and I'm thinking you're talking about the 34-hour reset. Is that what you're thinking, or like the 10-hour break every day? So if you can, Awais Ali Khan, if you can specify what kind of reset do you mean, and I'll be back to your question in a minute here. Okay, let's see what else do we have. I'm getting a lot of emails, and I just don't have time to answer all of them. A lot of them are very similar. So I'm gonna go right now in my email, and then if you have a question, feel free to ask that question. You know, anything about trucking, you can ask, and I'll try to answer it while we're talking. But right now, I had a plan to go into my email and see if I can answer some of those, and it could help others as well. Okay. So let me see. There was this one email. Okay. So I'm going to read this email without mentioning any names. Hi, my husband and I are subscribers on YouTube, and we are regularly watching your videos. I came up with an idea to try to reach you and ask you for an advice. Let me explain our situation. My husband is a semi-truck driver. He has his own truck and a trailer. I guess the husband has some problems with immigration paperwork, and then he was not able to renew his CDL because of that. So then they started a new process with immigration, but everything is still pending, and they don't know when the husband is going to be able to drive again. She's a CDL holder as well, and she wanted my advice as what she can do. My phone keeps ringing. Oh man. And how to use the potential of our truck. I'm a mother of, you have kids, and I would be able to drive cross country, but maybe there is something that I can work with my CDL and the truck that we have as a regular full-time job. Okay. Now, I really wasn't able to answer this because I really couldn't. I don't know anything about immigration. I mean, I do know some things because I was going through some of that stuff, but that was a long time ago. That was like 25 years ago. So everything changed. Everything changed. And I do get questions about CDL because there are some companies here who will hire people with some kind of special CDLs, either temporary or non-resident. Something, when they come here on a visa and they work as a CDL driver, and I know those exist, but I really don't know how that works, and we are not able to accept any drivers like that, right? You have to be a resident here, a legal resident, and have a CDL and all of that. Everything has to be regular, nothing out of ordinary. So I don't know much about that, but I do know that there are companies who will hire that. Now, she's saying she has a CDL. So what you can do, you have a CDL, but you can't go out. It's not going to be, this is I'm assuming a sleeper berth truck. So if you have a sleeper truck, it's going to be first hard to find a CDL, semi-truck work locally with a sleeper. You could still drive around. You could, but these are bigger. They're harder to park. And like I said earlier, it's when I spoke to, there was a comment here in the live stream. Someone was asking about a local job as an owner operator. That's very hard to find. The markets that we work on in spot markets and the loads that are similar to that, it's very hard to find something local. Local work usually is for LTL companies, and these are huge companies, and they charge like $50 to move a pallet, down the road, and they consolidate everything. They have their cross docks and all of that, and they can do that. They can be profitable doing that. Some owner operators were lucky enough to find a local shipper that was willing to keep them busy, but it's hard to do 100% work from one shipper, and keep you busy the whole week, because they're probably not going to have that much freight. Or if you can do something specialized, there is work for specialized trailers, like dump trailers, local flatbed delivery, crops, tankers, machinery. There is work, but you have to really have good contacts. You have to be able to have something, like if you have one customer, it's probably not going to be enough to keep you busy. You have to have more customers. So for her, this is probably not going to be possible. The only thing that she could do is maybe find a driver and put that driver in that truck for now, until the paperwork with her husband is resolved. Putting a driver in your truck could be profitable if you have your own authority, because you get to keep that commission. For example, here, if an owner operator comes and lease onto us, our commission is 12%. So if you have a truck, then it makes more sense to have that commission for yourself, because that's going to be a part of your profit. If you put your truck in someone else's authority and you lease the truck on to them, you might be profitable, you might not, especially in these markets. Once the markets improve, then yes, you can be profitable. You can make money, even with that commission. But with these rates, it's going to be hard. Okay? Unless you have a super strong driver and a really reliable truck that's not going to break down. So, for a year or so, if you have a really good truck, dependable truck, and a really good driver, you might be profitable, but still, you're not going to be able to live off of that one truck and support your whole family. You need 5 trucks. And one truck is your way to start. If you are looking to go into this business and expand and maybe have few more trucks, have your own trucking company, then your first truck is just your way to start. The first truck most likely is not going to be profitable. People don't understand that. Only, like I said, maybe if you have your own authority, then it could be profitable, but still, if you want this to be your full-time job and not like a side gig, let's say you're working somewhere and then you're buying a truck and you're putting in a company lease onto them, that could be your side gig, and it's not going to bring you a lot of money. But if you want this to be your full-time job and have a company, a trucking company that's expanding, the first truck is just your way to start. And then you have to get to the second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, because out of 5 trucks, 2, 1.5, statistically, let's say 1.5 of those trucks are going to be sitting the whole time. You're never going to have 5 trucks at the same time on the road. Maybe once in a great while, but then it's going to be for a week or 2. Or there's always going to be something. I figure that if you have a fleet, 20% of your trucks are sitting at all times, right? So that means if you have 10 trucks in your fleet, only 8 are going to be working the whole time on an average. If you have 20, only 16 will be working. So you have to count for that. So if you have 5 trucks, 3 will be working, 3.5, and then one of them might not complete the full week. That week, it might be like a half of a week. Then you might have one truck that keeps breaking down, and all the other trucks that you're making money off of those other trucks, you invest in that truck, in that bad truck that keeps breaking down. You may have a problematic driver. Out of 5, you will have at least one driver that's going to give you headaches, and you're going to lose money with that driver. So you have to have few drivers in order to do that. You can't live off of one truck. Okay. Let me see, what else do we have here in the comments? That English language level question comes up every time. It needs to be good, and myself, I'm working on it. Yeah, and I can see when you type your question, you can get by with improper grammar. I make mistakes usually because I'm just trying to type fast. I don't make a lot of mistakes on purpose or because I don't know the grammar. It's just the speed. That's my problem. But then, like I said, I have that Grammarly, and then sometimes it will correct me, and I'm 100% sure that this is correct, but then it turns out not to be, right? So my English is not perfect. It keeps correcting me, but then I learn something new. Okay. But when I see if like the way you type your sentence, I can tell right away that you're not ready. I'm not talking about you, Ulrich. I'm talking in general. What's a good region to send box truck from Chicago? So I really don't work with box trucks. I don't know much about box trucks, and that's I really can't answer a question about box truck. About if you're asking about a semi truck, there are no good regions right now. So I'm not going to tell you this is a good region. I'm just going to tell you what the bad region is. So don't send your truck there. Okay, and it's usually the same. And even today, Florida is bad. Colorado is bad. Northeast is bad. Even some western states. So we try to stay in Midwest, South, parts of Southeast. Like even South Carolina gets bad. North Carolina also gets bad. Atlanta does get bad as well. So if you go to South, stay in Midwest, you should be fine. Some states, like even Arizona, could be okay, or New Mexico, or even if you go north. But some of them are better seasonally, like for flatbeds or for reefers. So just don't send them to a bad area. You should be fine. I have a CDL. It's suspended for a couple more months, but I want to get into truck dispatching at home. It seems lots of info I look up. I already know mostly what's important when choosing a class. So if you have a CDL, you already know a lot about trucking and even about dispatching, because you have been talking to dispatchers and you know what they have to do. Now you only have to work on some back end programs and talking to brokers, asking for freight, negotiation, paperwork. So that those are the things that you have to learn. About classes, I really cannot direct you to a dispatching class other than ours, because I don't know how they are. They might be good, they might be bad, they might be better, they might be worse. I don't know, right? I have no idea how the rest is. Our classes right now, just so you know, we did go down on the prices, but we did have in the beginning we had a consultation call, and then that didn't work out because you learn everything during throughout the course, and that consultation call was really not a waste of time, but it didn't really help anything. Then we tried a support group where all the dispatchers can talk to each other, and it was quiet, right? It was very quiet, so we stopped doing that. And then we decided, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to slash the prices from the dispatching course. We're not going to have the consultation call or the support group. Therefore, the price will be 50% less than what it used to be, and we specify that when you go to neverstoptruck.in and you click on courses, we specify that this is self-paced, self-learning, pre-recorded videos. It's not live, right? We had that too, but that was also very expensive. So that's how our course works, okay? But experience, a dispatching course is good if you want to gain some knowledge about some expressions, the way things work, explanations, and you have access to the course for the lifetime. And you can go back, and if you are not sure about something, you can refer to one of the video lessons in the course, and then it will answer your question. But the biggest important thing is the experience. So any job, including dispatching, it's experience. That's what matters. So the most important things you're going to learn is by experience, by doing actual stuff, making mistakes, and self-correcting and learning from those mistakes. So that's the biggest thing. I see an article about the rates expecting to rise in second half of 2025. But who is predicting this rise in rates? Everyone is predicting, Michael. But the problem is everyone has been predicting the rise for the last year or so or more. So it's hard to trust those predictions. But everyone, like, go to Freight Waves. They are one of the biggest players right now in trucking industry news. They have a very popular program called Sonar that's popular between shippers and brokers, but it's very, very, very expensive. And they are using the data, the past data. They analyze the trends, and based upon that, and they also look into the markets, the economy, and whatever is going on, and based on that, they predict that the rates will go up. Most big brokerages are also saying that. They're also saying that they're expecting the rise in rates, but the problem is we are not seeing that yet. Now, we were talking about the ELDs, and Awais Ali Khan was asking about the reset. So there is a daily break, which I guess is 10 hours, but then sometimes driver mentions they have to do the hard reset. Okay, so Awais, I do have videos about that, okay, on the channel. So if you look for the ELD, you go to the channel, go to my videos, to channel videos, and then look for anything that has to, like the title includes the a phrase ELD, or hours of service. So I explain most of that stuff in those videos, but I will try to explain this right now as fast as I can. Okay, a driver has most of the drivers that are on the road right now are under 70 hours, 8 days rule. There are different cycles, like regional drivers might be under 60 hours, 7 days cycle. And then after those 60 days or 7 days, they have to do that hard reset that you mentioned, the 34-hour reset. In our case, most of us that work with drivers that are over the road, we use the 8-day, 70 hours cycle. Okay, so I'm gonna concentrate on that cycle. A driver can have 70 hours on duty, and the on duty includes the on duty time and the driving time. So you have 4 lines on your logbook. The upper 2 lines are off duty and sleeper berth. All right, and that's when you rest. These do not count against those 70 hours. Only the hours that are on the 3rd line and the 4th line on the logbook. The 3rd line is driving, and the 4th line is on duty. These, whatever the driver logs into these lines, that goes against the 70 hours. For example, driver starts on Monday, and driver drove 10 hours that day and used 2 hours on duty. Altogether, that's 12 hours. So now the driver has 58 hours left for the remainder of the week, okay? Because the driver used 12 hours. On duty is everything that's work related, loading, unloading, fuel. When you go to a scale, if the driver gets pulled over, something like that, everything work related, right? Driving is driving, obviously. So the driver can use 14 hours that day together, driving and on duty. Out of those 14 hours a day, a driver can have a maximum of 11 hours of driving. So that means the driver can drive 11 hours that one day and be on duty for 3 hours. Altogether, that's 14. After the driver runs out of those 14 hours, then the driver has to do a 10-hour break. It can be in the sleeper or off duty, okay? But it has to be 10 hours or more. After the driver has been resting for 10 hours, then the driver, like next day on Tuesday, driver gets more 14 more hours for that day, okay? But if the driver used 14 hours, then 70 minus 14 is 56. Then that means that the driver has now left 56 hours left for the rest of the week, okay? Now, keep in mind those 14 hours, driver can be on duty more than 3 hours a day, but cannot be driving more than 11 hours. And like I said, it cannot be more than 14 hours together at all. So for example, driver can drive 11 hours and have 3 hours on duty. Driver can have 10 hours and have 4 hours on duty, right? Driver can drive 9 hours and have 5 hours on duty. See what I'm saying? After the driver gets to 70 hours, then the driver in that week, then the driver has to do that 34-hour reset. Okay, so let's say the driver has like 14 hours left on his clock for that week. The driver will inform you, or if you have access to their ELDs, you can see that they only have 14 hours left for the next day. Now you have to plan, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to find him a short load that the driver can deliver and then do the 34-hour reset, do the 34-hour rest there? Or can you find the driver something long, like a 2-3 day trip, but then you have to make sure that the driver can get to the delivery on time, including that 34-hour time reset that he has to do for the reset. So the driver has to have enough time to pick up the load, do the reset, and deliver that load after the reset. Driver has to have enough time. Okay, so basically that's it. Driver can also, there is also something called recap, but we're not going to go into that. What it means is if the driver does not use all of those hours during that 8-day period, then the driver can do a recap. The driver does not have to do a reset until eventually the driver runs out of the hours for the last 8 days. The driver could technically drive 12 days without doing a 34-hour reset, right? But during the last 8 days, that driver cannot have more than 70 hours. And eventually, the driver will run out of those hours, and then eventually at some point of time, the driver will have to do that 34-hour reset. So if you notice that the driver, like let's say your driver, you were not able to find a load for the driver for 1 or 2 days, driver was sitting, driver was not driving a long time, then the driver can see their hours and say, hey, well, I wasn't driving that much this week. I didn't use a lot of my hours. I can just keep going. I don't have to do that reset after the 8 days. I'll use the recap. Okay, so that's how they do it. All right, let's go back to the questions. How much should I charge for the driver assist loads? Nowadays there are loads with driver assist. Driver assist loads, as far as I know, a standard rate for a driver assist is around $100 if they are doing the whole truck. If depends what kind of assistance this is. Is it actual? Because they say assist, but they have the driver actually unload the truck. So we have to be clear about these terms. Is it actually assisting? Is there going to be a crew or one guy that the driver is just going to help with something, or the driver is going to have to unload the whole load himself? Is he going to be by hand? Is he going to use a pallet jack? Do they have one? Are the pallets heavy or light? Right? So it depends on a lot of factors. It depends. So the harder the work is, obviously, the more money you can charge. There was a delay on my truck unloading. They ended up rescheduling it for next day. My question is, how does the detention works on this? Usually it's like after 2 hours you get 30 per hour. I only get layover. No, in this case you would get a layover. Detention is something where the driver is at delivery and they're unloading or loading that same day. It just takes long time. But if it goes into a next day, usually it's a layover, and they don't pay much for a layover. So even for detention, sometimes they will have a maximum amount of money that they're going to spend for detention. So usually a layover could be anywhere from $150 to $250 for the layover. So you will get a layover. They're not going to give you detention per hour. Yeah, they're not going to do that. So like if you wait 20 hours till next day, or even like 10 hours, then they would have to pay $300 for those 10 hours, and they're not going to do that. So they made the rules work in their favor. Okay. And we always argue that there was a potential that the driver was able to make much more because of that, but now we lost the load. We have to wait for the next day. So you should pay the driver fairly, because we could have done, had it not been for this layover, we could have made much more money, right? And we would argue, okay, well, we could have done a load that's paying, I don't know, like $1,000 for one day. And okay, well, out of those $1,000, there's fuel, there's maintenance, there's all of that. So what would be the actual profit from that $1,000? Well, it would have been much more than the $150 they're giving us, for sure. But they're claiming that the driver was not driving, the driver was just sitting, the equipment wasn't moving. But still, it's not enough. It's not enough. It should be more if you want to compensate the driver fairly. I'm watching from Facebook now, and it looks very different here. Okay. Well, let me see. Let me see what it looks like from Facebook. Because I usually have my YouTube channel open so I can monitor, make sure that the live stream is streaming. I will go to Facebook and see what it looks like over there. Okay. Yeah, well, it is different. It is different. It's interesting. It does transcribe whatever I'm saying. There are closed captions. That's cool. That's nice. Yeah, so we're streaming on Facebook, on another channel on YouTube, and on Twitch, and on Rumble at the same time. Okay. I'm going to go back to the questions here on my email, see if we have more questions that I haven't answered. Most people are asking about a course or if I need a dispatcher. So that's what I see in my email. Okay. Here's a question about starting your own company. Before we do that, I'm gonna do something else here. Okay. I'm gonna give me 30 seconds to talk about Usora Express and what we offer for owner operators. Okay, if you're willing to work with me and others on our team, you can call me. The phone number is in the description of this video. There is an email, there's a website as well. You can also schedule owner operator consultation if you're about to lease your truck to us. If you have your own semi truck, we would love to have you. Our team is very experienced. Right now there is a few of us, and all of us have experience, and we know how to deal with over the road loads. You get 88% of the gross revenue from the load. You get direct deposit every Friday. You get the original rate confirmations, fuel cards with discounts, and you get an app where you can look them up, save 5 to 10K a year with those fuel discounts. I'm not kidding. Dedicated dispatcher, no force dispatch. You can rent a trailer from one of our local partners. You choose where and when to go and how long you stay on the road, and you have access to our app designed exclusively for Usora Express by Emerald. He's the man. So he designed and he's maintaining this, and drivers and dispatchers love our application. The requirements are only that the driver has to have at least 2 years of CDLA experience, and you have to pass a drug test. You have to be registered with Clearinghouse, no SAP, no DUI, and driver has to be approved by the insurance. And let's go back. So here is a question about starting my own trucking company. Hello, I have watched many of your YouTube videos and appreciate all your informative content. Thank you. I want to start a trucking company where I hire owner operators until I make enough money to buy my own equipment. And then he had a couple of questions. So the questions are, do I still need to obtain $1 million in general liability and $100,000 in cargo insurance from an insurance company, even if I won't have any company-owned trucks? Is this something I can have the owner-operator pay for themselves, or do I have to legally provide this to every owner-operator as their leasing company? So that's the first question, and then I'll answer it right away. So as far as the $1 million go, now he said general liability. Now, there are different kinds of liabilities, insurances, policies. The main one is just the liability insurance that the FMCSA will ask you to have, and that one is for $1 million. Their FMCSA, their minimum is $750,000, but most brokers will not even look at you if you have that. So you have to have 1 million because of the brokers and everything else that's going on right now with these lawsuits and the liability. So $1 million, you have to have that. Now you can have additionally general liability, and that could be $1 to $2 million. Now that's additionally, right? That's different. That's a different policy, and that one is not very expensive. That one is like $1,000 per year, but it's nice to have it. A lot of brokers will expect you to have that as a trucking company on top of the regular liability. $100,000 in cargo insurance, yes, you have to have it. Now, all of this has to be in your trucking company name. So you have your own, you form your own trucking company. Usually it's an LLC. You get your own MC number and DOT number. And the FMCSA will not grant you authority without having that liability insurance. Okay, they don't care about cargo, but brokers will require cargo, and you have to have it when you're transporting loads. So all of this has to be in your own company name first, because the FMCSA will not approve your authority without the liability insurance. And then secondly, brokers will not give you loads without that. It has to be in your name, because if there's a claim and the load is the truck is transporting the load that you booked in your company name, then if there's a claim, your insurance will have to pay it, and the broker will expect your insurance and everyone else that's on the road, the DOT, the police, uh, if other people are involved, other people's property is involved, then your policy, because this is not truck owned by you, but it's leased onto you. The truck has to be on your policy, and the driver. The truck has to have your signs on the side of the truck. You have to have a contract with that owner operator. So you have to have that insurance in your name. Now, since this is an owner operator, the owner operator is a contractor, you will carry that fee onto them. So they will pay for it for their own trucks. So if you have 10 trucks under your own authority and they're all leased, each one will be paying for whatever it costs for their trucks to be insured, right? And usually most insurances will charge you the same rate for each truck. So it's easy to know. Like here, like we just said, our, like you saw Express, $300 a week. There are other fees included. Like most trucking companies will charge you for ELD. You have to have an ELD in your truck, and they will charge you. It's like $40, $50 subscription a month. There's IFTA. If you don't have your own IFTA, you will be on company's IFTA. They will charge you for that. So we included everything in those $300. You get IFTA and the ELD cost and the cargo and liability insurance in that 300, right? So that's what we do. And all other trucking companies will charge you that insurance fee, because it gets carried over to the owner operator. Now, there are some trucking companies who will charge you more, a bigger percentage for their commission. Like Landstar, they charge between 20 and 35%. Usually it's around 35% from the load. But then the insurance is on them, right? They cover the insurance, but they take that money from you as an owner operator anyway. It comes out to same. At the end, it's really same. The next question was, I want to run reefer loads and therefore will want reefer breakdown insurance. Is this something I must provide to my owner operators or something I can require them to get themselves if they want to work for my company? Again, it has to be under your company, the reefer breakdown insurance. All of these insurances, except for physical / bobtail insurance, it can be purchased by the owner operator. And this is when you're not under dispatch and under some other certain situations. But that's the only insurance that the driver can purchase themselves. Maybe occupational, but that's like for bad injuries. If someone gets injured while they're working, that's different. But all of these other insurances have to be on your name as a trucking company, including the reefer breakdown. And reefer breakdown is not really that expensive per year. Okay, so I'm looking at the messages here. Okay. I do see a voicemail here because I am live. I do see a voicemail from Pete. I will call you back. I have your phone number after the live stream. He's interested in seeing what we have to offer, so I will call you back if you're watching. Let's go back to the stream, see if we have any other questions. Why do brokers like Circle Logistics, KCH, and many more do not work with Progressive? Alex is saying, would love to hear your reviews and suggestions. Alex, what type of reviews do you mean? Review whom? If you can answer that. But Progressive, I think I have a video about Progressive. Did I make a video about Progressive? Hold on, let me see. Videos. I think I did. Progressive. I didn't. I should. I should make a video about that. But here comes the answer. Progressive is the worst trucking insurance out there. Okay, for cars, they might be okay. They might be okay for cars. They give you a good rate in the beginning, then they slowly increase it. And then I've heard from my insurance agent for my car that you cancel them. Like once they increase the rate, you cancel them. You find someone else, you run with them, and then you go back, run a quote with Progressive. They're gonna give you a cheaper rate again. So I don't know about that. I haven't tried. But as far as trucking goes, they're bad. You don't want Progressive, and I don't blame these brokers that they don't want to work with Progressive. And there are many other brokers that don't want to work with Progressive. Why? Progressive, okay, so first, they have a big discount if you run under, I think it's under 500 miles, 500 mile radius. I don't know exactly, but I know, and most insurance will give you a discount if you don't go past that 500 mile radius from your home base, because they think that there's less risk involved, like you're staying close to home. But Progressive, they're weird, right? I don't know if that's one of their requirements to even what's the name? Produce a policy for a carrier. I'm not sure if that's like a requirement that you don't run past 500 miles, or is it that they give you a better discount, and some trucking companies will do that. And then if there's a claim, if there's an accident, and the truck is out of that 500 mile radius, or they notice that you go out a lot, then you could be in trouble. And then brokers just don't want to mess with that. They don't want to have a claim, and the insurance will not cover it because that carrier went out of 500 mile radius. And Dr. Ennis, hey Detroit, you're nice to see you again. So that's one reason. Now, another reason, like I said, Progressive has a really bad reputation. I used to get these ads about Progressive on my Facebook, and if you read the comments, 100% of those comments are bad and negative about Progressive, and they leave them there. They don't delete them, but there is like 100 or 200 comments, and they're just bad. Everyone is bashing them out. I had Progressive when I first started this company. Right now, I had Progressive because they gave me the cheapest quote. And every truck that I added after that, that's another problem with them. They will base the quote. They will give you a quote based on the driver and on the truck and trailer. So most other insurances, like what we have right now, we have a same rate for every truck. It doesn't matter what kind of truck is on the rate, on the policy, what kind of driver is on the policy, what their MVR looks like. It doesn't matter as long as they accept them. It doesn't matter where they live. As long as they accept them, the driver and the trucks are covered for the same rate throughout the whole year. Until you do the renewal, then you get a new rate for everyone. But Progressive, it's the opposite of that. It changes every little reason they can find. They will change the rate. You add a driver from a different state. Oh yeah, well, this is a different rate because they're from that state. You add an older driver. You add a driver with 2 tickets. You add different equipment. Everything is different. And it always goes up. Right? It never goes down. They're like a new truck that you add. They're not going to say, "Hey, here's a quote that's $2,000 less for the whole year." No, my first truck was quoted, I think, at $18,000 per year at that time. That was almost 5 years ago in this company. And the next truck, they quoted it like $24,000 for the whole year. The next truck, they quoted for over $30,000, almost twice. And this driver had a really good record. And I asked them, what's going on? They said, well, this driver is not out of Michigan, because the first one were two out of Michigan. This one is from Indiana. Like, I would, then I looked for, I was lucky. I was able to find a local agent here who I was able to prove my experience in driving and in owning a trucking company. And based on that, they gave me a really good rate. Had it not been for that, I would not have been able to survive with Progressive. And they also, at one point, I only had them for like 3 months, but at one point of time, they increased the rates for everyone out of blue for no reason. And I asked them why. They said, well, we reserve the right to increase the rate due to, costs going up or inflation, something like that. This guy keeps calling him. I am live now on on YouTube. I will call you later. Okay. So now, like any other insurance carrier, with your car or in trucking, when you pay for the full year or you have a policy issued, sometimes in car insurance they will give you 6-month policy, but in trucking is generally 1 year. And that's your price. It's not going to change until the renewal of the policy. They're going to review everything. They're going to give you a new quote based on many factors. But Progressive, they just increase it during, like, after 3 months, during that first contract. You could call it a contract. That's not good. So no one likes Progressive. Everyone that I spoke to a couple of guys, and they said, well, I've had Progressive for a long time. He's a one truck owner operator, and he has had Progressive. He never had any trouble. They gave him a good rate and he stayed with them. I believe him. Okay. So Progressive was okay to him, but in 99% of other cases, they're not good. They're bad. Orville Cole is saying, never get Progressive. Progressive once gave me insurance quote for $70,000 to insure a tractor that's worth $40,000. Yeah, $70,000. I've heard of $40,000. I never heard of $70,000, but I've heard of $40,000 and $50,000 a year for one truck. Come on, that's like, I don't know, $70,000. Yeah, they are the worst. That's for sure. Okay. Let's see here. If you have more questions, you can ask them. We have been streaming for 53 minutes. We have 29 people watching as of now, which is cool. Okay, nice. Just looking at the stats. Let's see what we have here in the email. Anything new that's worth answering? Okay, I will go to the channel here and look at some comments from the channel, and then we'll try to answer some of those comments. Oh yeah, market conditions. Let's do market conditions. Blah, blah, blah. All right, here we go. Now this is Van prior business day. This is live from DAT load board. As you can see, the Midwest, South, and maybe Southeast looks very tight. According to DAT, now we spoke about DAT, how this is not 100% correct, but I guess it gives you some kind of picture. in what's going on in the trucking industry. So this is van. What about flatbed? Flatbed is supposedly doing good. I've heard last week and a couple of days ago, I spoke to people and they're saying that they're seeing better rates for flatbeds because I'm assuming because the construction season is about to start. So that was expected. Okay. But this here is all red. Look at this. This is nice to see. But what the rates are, now that's a different story. We'll look into that as well. What about current day? Same thing, prior business day, 8 days, very similar. And this is interesting too. This part here, Oregon and Northern California, and then here's Southern California. This is interesting. Okay, so if you live here and if you have a flatbed, you can go up and down, so you could do these loads. That could work for you if you have a flatbed. Reefer is all over, but still not that great. Okay, what about trend lines? February this year versus February last year. I think we spoke about that in the last live stream. 14% more spot load posts. Spot truck posts 35% less as opposed to last year. And this probably has to do with the fact that the markets are bad and only TQL is calling you, no one else is gonna call you anyway, and the fact that the DAT changed their interface from the power load board to most users maybe around that time of the year last year. So that might have to do something with this number. Okay, so see, flatbed, they're going up the rates, 251. So that is true that the flatbed rates are improving. Now, van, for the first time in a long time, the average rate for dry van is less than $2 per mile. Yep. And then also a reefer is doing worse as opposed to last few months. You can see in January we had a decent month in January. Everyone had, except for flatbed. Flatbed is doing better than January right now, but that's normal because it was winter, so that was expected. But January and reefer for van and reefer for January, they were much better than what they are now. Okay. All right. Now, if we let's go to search loads. So let's see if this is right. So flatbed, everything down there on the south is red and tight. So let's see what the loads from Shreveport are paying. Flatbed loads. For today. A lot of loads. It's a lot of loads. Over 3,000 loads. What if we go to 50-mile radius? 300 loads. Okay. Let's do 80-mile radius then. 850. Okay, good. What's the... We are seeing $3 per mile, but these are shorter loads. $3. So these loads, like if you do a lot of short loads here between these states, then that might be the reason why these loads are paying better per mile because these are shorter loads and they're staying within the region here. So 253. And then I'm assuming if I go to highest rate, it's going to be a very short load. No, this is actually a longer load, but it's going to South Dakota. From Louisiana to South Dakota, you could get for $4,000 with these guys. But, you know, is this even true? How many stops does it have? It doesn't say anything. Okay. What else do we have? Boise, Idaho with TQL, our favorite broker. Okay. So the highest... Oh, this is the rate, not... I thought I selected the highest per mile. This is the highest rate. Okay, so this is normal. This is normal. Okay, but what about highest per mile? Now, yeah, that's short. That's what I thought. So if you're doing these short loads down there, you could make some money. Like this one. Like this one. It's paying $5 without the deadhead. So without the deadhead, $5.21 per mile. If you include the deadhead, it's paying $4.22. So 4, 4, 5, 4. A lot of these shorter loads. So yeah, that is true then. But again, you have to stay there. You can't go anywhere else. Now let's do, just for fun, let's do van. Let's do van. Highest per mile is going, of course, to Florida and Colorado because no one wants to go there or something short. But what about if we go just like to regular loads? Look at this one. This is a partial. Okay, so let's change this to full. 235 to Nebraska. $2 to Virginia. This is considered east. You know, Richmond, Virginia. That's considered east. They're paying $2 per mile. $1.88 to St. Paul, Wisconsin. So if you want to stay there, if you want to make more than $2, you're gonna have to stay there in the south again. But most people, you know, who are over the road, they just want miles. They just want to run. Because these, especially if you're in a flatbed, these short loads, like every day you have to strap and tarp and untarp. It's a lot of work to do it every day if you're in a flatbed, and they know that. And then finally, reefers. What are they paying? $2.29, $2.30 to Pennsylvania. Come on. And this is a team load. This is a reefer with a team load paying $2.30 to Pennsylvania. Okay. All right. This is what the markets look like. Let's see if we have any comments. What we got covered this week? Paying $4,000 for 3 box trucks. Damn, Canada, it was all blue up there. If that was accurate. Canada, we don't like. They have their own version of DAT load board. They use LoadLink, and this here, like, see, like only 67 loads. So this is not correct. This is not correct. There are loads from United States that are posted on DAT that go to Canada, but in Canada they use a different software, and it's much more expensive. So we don't really know what's going on up there, unless you had their that software. So that's the problem with Canada. Okay, I'm gonna switch to front camera, then I'll find the comments here. I'm gonna go into the comments section and see what kind of comments we have. Oh, here's an interesting question that was posted yesterday. So I'm gonna change the screen here. Okay. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. Oh, it's too much. This is interesting. I find the name of your channel in correlation with the fact that you have sold all of your trucks. Really ironic, since you did stop trucking. Love the content though. You give great insight to what is going on with the industry. Pozdrav. Well, we we still have trucks that are leased onto our authority. So it's I'm still in trucking. You know, I still own a trucking company. So I will respond to him. I am still in trucking. We have usually I wouldn't reply, but I'll forget, you know. I wouldn't reply during the live stream, but I'll forget, so I'm gonna reply to him. Okay. So this was about the Amazon Relay video that where I explained the Amazon Relay load board, and this guy is saying that if you have a box truck, so you will get around $32 per hour for 8 hours job. And this is not only for the box truck, this is also for semi trucks. Semi trucks pay really bad on Amazon load board right now. It's terrible. I have no idea. I see Amazon trailers here in town all the time. They're being pulled by other different trucking authorities, different trucking companies like we used to. I just have no idea how they can stay profitable with the money Amazon is paying right now. So most of these questions will be about dispatching and about giving someone the courage to dispatch, right? So it's just what it is. It's the markets. Thank you, Michael. Michael is also watching right now. I spoke to him a few weeks ago. We spoke together. We had a consultation, and it was very nice meeting Michael. Well, lucky for him, she didn't smash his truck. This is the video I posted about this lady driver that we had to kick out of the truck. And these are the videos I spoke about equity transportation here from Grand Rapids area. I made a video how they closed their doors after 51 years in business. And then there are a lot of drivers who replied to that video, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people saying the same thing. They have been with them for a long time, and they just sent them an email, and they said that they will receive wages in 3 to 4 weeks, but I seriously doubt that. You know, if they didn't receive them now, they're probably, unfortunately, not gonna receive them. You know, maybe some of them will, but you know, if you don't have the funds to run the company and pay the drivers right now, then you're probably not gonna have the money in 3 to 4 weeks. You're just gonna go bankrupt. Just reading my messages. Okay. And let's see. I will have to go. I'm getting a lot of phone calls. I will have to answer some of them and call them back. It was very nice talking to everyone and answering your questions. Hopefully this was a good live stream for you. I'm gonna plan to come back next Wednesday at 11 again, and we'll see how it goes. I'll try to get some content ready so we have something to talk about, and make sure you get some questions for me throughout the week, right? So if you think about if you are not sure about something, if you're asking me like how to become a dispatcher and that kind of stuff, I can't answer that. It's not a good time to start working on becoming a dispatcher right now. So I really don't want to lie to you and tell you something that's not right? But any other questions, dispatching, trucking, brokerage, anything like that, make sure you make make notes and ask me during the live stream, and hopefully I will see you next time, and hopefully I can be here again on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless something comes up in trucking. You never know, but we are still in trucking. We have a few owner-operators that signed up with us during the last few months, and we are growing, and we are getting more by the day. And if you're interested in working with us, let me know. The information is in the description of this video. Thanks for being here every time. Thanks for watching, for liking the videos, for subscribing to the channel, and then I'll see you guys around. Thank you one more time.